Hi there viewers, and welcome to Get Well, Stay Well on Revelation TV. My name is Cyrus, and once again delighted to be joined by Felicity. How are you doing?
Hi there, so I walked all the way here. Easier to walk down the hill than up the hill, that's for sure. But today we've got a really interesting program on walking our way to health. And it's really important that we should be taking exercise and also oxygenating the lungs.
Now, Revelation TV constantly has new viewers, and maybe they're not familiar with our programs. Just explain what you're looking to achieve with our programs.
Well, we really want to help people get well so that they stay well. So it's not a quick band-aid or having an aspirin for a headache. It's really walking, it's using the right diet, the foods that God told us in Genesis 1:29 and 30. And when people come back to the natural lifestyle, they do get well and they stay well, which is great.
It's a whole package, isn't it, Felicity? It's a lifestyle change. It's not only eating the right foods or only exercising. It's a mixture of everything.
Yes, it's relaxation as well, and it's getting in the sunshine, in the fresh air. It's learning to relax, to do some research on wellness as well, and really concentrating on health instead of just drugs that are handed out for diseases. Because when the immune system is strong, when the immune system is working well, we stay well and we don't pick up infections.
Let's talk about exercise. Why is exercise as important as eating the right foods?
Well, obviously it's really important to keep the muscles all moving, and also for oxygenating, because all our cells need to be oxygenated. And most people think of the lungs, you know, breathing in and out, and that's all you need for air. In fact, the oxygen needs to get to all the cells. So when we oxygenate, we actually oxygenate the blood as well, and then the blood will take the oxygen around the whole body to our trillions of cells. So it's important for the brain as well. You know how you feel so much better when you take exercise?
Yeah. So
really important to get out there and play your football or walk on the beach or whatever you're going to do. Play golf maybe, that's nice exercise.
I think being healthy, it really does affect your psychological state as well, how you are mentally, you're positive and you've got more energy. That really does affect it by eating the right foods and exercising.
There's no doubt about it, it's absolutely vital, yes. So today we've got some really good clips, starting with just the way that the foot works and how we should, you know, obviously walk in decent shoes and get our running shoes out. Eat the right foods, and away we go. We really do feel so much better. So we're moving in the right direction.
Excellent. So let's take a look at our first clip that we have today. This is how we can walk better.
So first of all, let's look at our feet. Many people don't actually optimize their feet because they walk with what I call a passive foot strike. The foot comes down in contact with the ground as one solid unit. There's no appreciation of actually how active the foot can be. A passive foot strike creates three challenges for the body. It robs us of good posture, it actually minimises the correct tracking from the foot through to the knee and then through to the hip, and also it takes away the ability to stimulate the whole lengthening, the muscle lengthening and tautening effect that we can create with every single step. We need to be thinking about achieving two things with the feet. First of all, having an active foot, and secondly, to achieve an open ankle. And we need to focus on these two objectives with every single step we take. So the active foot and the open ankle are the first part of my walkout technique, and they give three unique body benefits. Let me show you how. When you actually come into an active foot and open ankle, straight away it will actually start to open up your whole posture. So you get correct alignment, not just from the foot to the knee and to the hip, but all the way up through the body, improving your posture. Now functionally, what's also important is in this position, you can have an awareness of your big toe, your middle toe and your little toe. Functionally, it really helps you get the correct alignment between the foot and the knee and the hip, so the tracking is correct. You're actually going to safeguard your joints and reduce any potential discomfort you might have in the knee joint, but also here, importantly, in the lower back and in the hips. And the third benefit is cosmetic. As soon as you start to activate the foot correctly, you're going to stimulate the correct muscle recruitment. So that's going to be much more of your glutes and your bum. And also, you're tending to find that you're making the muscles work in a lengthened, tautened position. So that impacts how your body looks, as well as how your body performs.
Hi there, welcome back. Walking is something that we all are blessed to do every day of our lives, really. but it's making the most of it and turning it into an exercise, and not taking the shortcuts and making an effort and doing a certain amount of walking every day.
That's right. I mean, we should park the car further away and then walk. Make sure you get at least 10 minutes or half an hour, ideally, a day of walking. And it's really a great exercise, you know, it doesn't cost anything. It's not like joining a gym or a golf club or something. It's really easy to do. And, you know, from when we're little babies, the first thing you do is put the baby in the baby bouncer, and they jump up and down. They love it, and they're trying to walk. And really, we need to get that joy and the fun in our walking as well. So if we can walk by the beach or walk by in a forest or by the trees, obviously, we're going to oxygenate much better as well.
I think the good thing about walking is something that we can all do. There are no excuses, really, in a way. It's something that, regardless of your shape, your size, how much you've exercised, maybe people are watching us today and they haven't exercised for over 20 years, but it's something that they can take at their own pace, isn't it? And they can just start slowly and then gradually work their way up.
That's right, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to start with the gentle walking exercises. We're going to build up to dancing by the end of the program. So it's really important just to get the body moving. And when I was really ill, you know, I started walking again with rebounder. I started working on that, and an air glider, and really just getting the body moving again. And it makes you feel so much better just to be up and mobile and walking again. It's wonderful.
Just explain to our viewers about when you're exercising, how can that improve your posture, and how can that also improve your confidence as well?
Well, I think it's really important to have the right posture. You know, at school we used to get badges for posture. I remember I had a posture badge, and I very often think about that now. I'm in my 70s, and in my flat I have a mirror, and I can see just how out of alignment I've got. You know, you've got to get the earlobes behind the shoulders, basically, shoulders down, and then stand against, say, the wall, so that the back of your head touches and right the way down the body. And then you realize, my goodness me, that's how I should be standing, how I should be walking. And you know, the old one about walking with the book balanced on your head. But it's good stuff. And people look so much better. They immediately look slimmer when they stand up straight. And they just give that appearance of being confident, so much better than slouching around, you know. So it's good to have a few mirrors around the place, and you catch sight of yourself. And I remember, you know, after I just got well, and I caught sight of myself in a shop window. I thought, I can't bear it. You know, I was bent over, I looked 100. And so I thought, my goodness me, I've really got to do something about this and stand up straight and sit up straight as well.
Because I think by standing up straight and sitting up straight, mentally we're more confident as well as a person, aren't we?
Well, we are, and also the electrical meridians that run through the body are working properly. You know, the spinal column has this energy that goes through the spinal column, and when we're hunched over, in fact, the energy is not flowing freely. So it's really important to sit tall and to stand tall, yeah.
Now, we're talking today about walking. What are your thoughts on high heel shoes?
Well, you know, I did my time in high heel shoes. I had such fun, you know, as a smart London girl, in my tottering around, you know, sort of car to the bar shoes, you know, but not for the underground, because I used to go on the underground to my jobs. And you soon learn that really you want to have some flat shoes or wedges. Wedges are very good, actually, and mainly I wear wedges now. And then you've got to have some proper shoes, you know, the ones for walking, the trainers, which everyone's wearing now, and how comfy they are. When I do long distance flights, I always, because you have to walk miles at the airport now, and so I always wear my trainers, and I can skip along better.
It's interesting now in the sports shops they actually have the running trainers, shall we say, and they have like the elastics at the bottom, so it really does assist you with like a spring.
It's wonderful, yes, absolutely. You get these, there are shoes that are sort of curved at the bottom. Have you heard about those?
Right, yeah.
And I've got a pair of those, and in Jersey I walked to the end of the, there's a place called St. Catherine's, and there's a wonderful walk that goes right out to the sea. You know, it's a pier, it's an old pier where they used to have the shipbuilding. And I walk out there and I walk back and I'm bouncing along. It's absolutely wonderful.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our next clip. This is called "The Walk for Health is the Best Medicine."
Walking is the best exercise that we know. Walking helps us to maintain health. It helps as a preventative for certain illnesses and diseases.
When I have acquaintances that ask me, what do? I'm pre-diabetic. My blood sugars are high. I've noticed my cholesterol to be high. My first recommendation to them is go out for a walk every day.
We didn't evolve to sit around on chairs all day and watch TV or sit around and talk with one another.
Walking benefits the cardiovascular system, for one. It helps keep your heart strong, helps keep your rhythm of the heart strong.
Certainly it's going to help you with muscle tone. It's going to help you with maintaining an appropriate weight.
Patients who may be prone to developing dementia do better in terms of their memory the more physically fit they stay. So getting involved in a walking group tends to help diminish those effects.
Walking makes us engage in moving the lungs in and out, so we keep our respiratory capacity. People who have respiratory illnesses, for example, walking is perfect. Walking allows them the exercise to get their heart rate stimulated, get blood flow increased to the legs, to the arms, to the brain, and maintains their respiratory status so they don't have to be on oxygen.
Most antidepressants take roughly about 4 weeks to work. A better quick fix is walking briskly. Walking vigorously is an immediate antidepressant. Everybody that I see that are either depressed or anxious, I get them walking.
It's a well-known fact that weight-bearing and walking helps women maintain calcium in their bones and maintains the strength of the bones.
Many of my patients are coming to me looking for hormonal therapy or pharmacological treatments for osteoporosis, and although pharmacology has a key component, the even more important component is walking, and especially load-bearing exercises. What I emphasize to them more than anything else, if you're going to do anything, at least walk down a flight of stairs as much as you can. That especially is important in older people where you can have easy fractures from a fall. A simple walking pattern can prevent that by almost 35 to 40%. Walking in general is also a way to interact with each other. I mean, I see a lot of walking groups. I see walking groups at lunchtime. I see walking groups in the mall. So it's not just a way of physical maintenance of good health. It's also a way of interacting with other people. It's a way of community.
Hi there, viewers. Welcome back. Just like they said on the clip there, walking helps to protect the bones. So for maybe elder people who have a fall, they would have protected their bones to become more stronger.
Yes, and that's another reason to keep off the dairy, as you know, Si, because the dairy, whether it's milk, cream, cheese, whatever it is, it does turn to acid in the body. And the last thing we need to be doing is drinking milk for our bones, because actually milk causes osteoporosis. So to build healthy bone, we need to have the green leafy vegetables with our salads every day, and also cooked vegetables as well. But not to be drinking a glass of milk a day to build the bones, because it really destroys the bones. But we were never taught that. I was taught, you know, years ago about how healthy the milk was, but it does cause a lot of fractures. And so the thing is to get people off that, do some weight-bearing exercise. For instance, I used to play a lot of golf. So you're actually carrying your clubs, you're walking, so you're getting the exercise, you're doing the load-bearing. And also you're doing a bit of cardiovascular as well, because you're walking uphill and downhill. And you know, you're getting a really good exercise, and you're out in the fresh air as you're walking as well.
Explain to me how walking can be an antidepressant.
Well, it certainly lifts the spirits, you know, it stimulates the whole body. We have the hormones that work magnetically, chemically, electrically, and we really have to get the whole body moving. We're meant to be creatures that move, that work. You know, man was working in the fields We were fishermen or farmers years ago, and suddenly we're sitting at these desks and these computers, and we're not doing the physical work. And this is why people have got ill, really.
I think it was interesting as well when they mentioned about the dementia patients after walking, it helped with their memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It makes you feel so much better. You know, we need to make serotonin in the brain, and when we're out enjoying nature, I'm not saying, you know, walking down a big city street, you know, with all the pollution, that's not going to lift the spirits at all. But when we can get out into nature, and there's usually parks, you know, in London there are parks, and we just have to get amongst the trees and breathe that fresh air.
Something I was going to ask you as well is, are treadmills as beneficial as walking in the fresh air?
I've seen some very funny things happen on treadmills because people can miss their footing on them and go flying. I think they're quite dangerous, actually. And also, I don't like exercising indoors because, you know, if you're in a sweaty gym, you're just breathing in the toxins from other people. And I think it's so much better to exercise outdoors. And if you can't do that, exercise in your home, but have the windows open, at least you're breathing fresh air.
And in your opinion, what would be the difference between walking and cycling?
Well, cycling, obviously, you're not getting the load-bearing weight on the legs, on the hips, the knees, the ankles. If people have had a lot of weight on them, it's a very sensible thing to start cycling because you're not going to damage those joints until you've lost enough weight that then you can really start walking gently. But some people are so heavy that, you know, they can't go and start walking a long way because they are going to damage those joints. You know, there's so many people nowadays having hip replacements, knee replacements. Very often it's just that they've been so heavy that they've worn out the joints.
I think it's interesting today with today's modern technology, with the smartphones that we have, there are a number of apps that we can have, and they're free, and you can simply connect it through your GPS so it can locate where you are, and when you're walking it's calculated the distance that you've walked, how many calories that you've burnt, and you can set a target for yourself perhaps every day or every time you go walking to see, I'm going to walk further on today. I'm going to beat the time that I did previously. And if you're unable to walk with other people, then it's like a motivational way of trying to see how you're improving.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's wonderful. And the thing is, you know, to walk first to that lamppost up the street, and then the next day, you know, you walk a little bit further and just build it up gradually. The whole thing is not to damage yourself, not to sprain an ankle early on, and then that completely puts you out of training. My son he's been an Ironman triathlete, you know, he's really into sport, and my father was an Olympic athlete, so I was never particularly good at those things. I loved my golf, I loved my tennis, but I could never run, and I think that it's important to start the exercise where you're at and not say, oh, well, I'm not an athlete, I can't do this. Find something that is fun. And that's why I've put some dancing on the end of this program, because that's such a good way to motivate people to take some exercise. But walking in the fresh air is absolutely wonderful.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our next clip, and this is called Walk for Health.
It becomes part of your life, and you splice it in wherever you can, like parking your car way out at the end of the parking lot. Why park right next to the building?
You know, I never run and do a task. I don't swim to go pick something up, but I always walk across the street to get something, or walk half a mile to get a task done. And I think that's the important thing about walking, is that it could be exercise and it can be functional as well.
Every little bit of exercise can be a cumulative kind of effect.
Time is important. 20 to 30 minutes a day of walking is good, and it doesn't have to be strenuous walking. So there's a lot of good benefits from walking. That can be social, it can be physical, and it can help lead to a better lifestyle and less need for medical interventions.
With all the benefits it has, take advantage of that. It's one of the easiest things that you can do to have the multitude of benefits on your health.
It shouldn't be based on convenience. It should be considered a staple part of your life.
It continues to be the best medicine we have. There's no pill that can give you what walking can give you.
Hi there, welcome back. Like they said on the clip, walking is the easier thing to do. And we can make changes in our own life by, I think today's society, we just want everything convenient, and we try and park the car, like they said, as close as we possibly can. Well, why not park the car a little bit at a distance and walk?
That's right. And then people say they haven't got the time to do it. But you see, at the end of the day, if you don't exercise, you don't have as much time at the end of your life, because if we don't keep ourselves fit, you know, God's given us these wonderful immune systems, and we're supposed to keep ourselves fit. We are the temples of the Holy Spirit, and we have to really look after ourselves. Otherwise, we pay an awful price later on.
It's funny how we get used to using our car.
Yeah.
Where I live, I have a supermarket not far, little shop not far from where I live. But your mindset, like the other day, my wife asked me, "Okay, can you go to the shop and get some bread now?" I'll take my daughter and you go for the walk, but my mindset is just automatically you take the car, you get in the car, and my wife's calling me out the window saying, "What are you doing?" Walk, the shop's just up the road. And you think, it's just a habit that you do that without thinking. I remember watching, there was one of the comedy films that there was a few years ago, and basically the guy comes out of his house and he walks down his path, he gets in his car, and he just drives literally right next to his next door neighbour. He gets out and then walks down the other path. And it's like how much we're relying on our vehicles and not walking is just, it's incredible. It's something that it's just a small change that we can make, and it can affect our health, can't it?
That's right. And in America, of course, they literally drive to go and have dinner with the neighbours, you know. It's incredible, and it's so good to be back here in Europe, and people are walking so much more. And where I live, of course, I'm up in the hills, and I see these amazing triathletes, you know, they're coming up on their bicycles, and it's a 10-minute drive, so it's a long way on the bicycle. And my goodness me, they are sweating. They're so thin, those guys, you know, and their legs are so wiry. And one of my girl neighbours, she does it as well. And she must be in her 60s, but I see her, she looks amazing, she's so fit. And she cycled all the way up that hill.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also walking and exercising with other people can help to motivate yourself as well, can't it?
Well, yes, if you can get a friend who will do it with you, it's much more fun, and you feel that you have to go because, you know, she's waiting outside and saying, "Come on, you know, time to go." So you feel that you have to make that effort, because it's so easy to get caught up in phone calls, on the computer, and perhaps the only exercise you're taking is from the computer to the printer, you know, or it's just ridiculous. And in kitchens, of course, you can just stand in a small kitchen really and do all the work.
Yeah.
And you think that, you know, before we had machines, we used to be out hanging the laundry out to dry, and you know, really doing much more physical work than we do now. So the machines have not been all that clever, really.
And what would you advise to our viewers would be the ideal amount of time to start walking if they haven't done that for a few years, shall we say?
Well, you know, start with 10 minutes, and as I say, start by rebounding. If you're really been ill and you can't get out to walk, start by rebounding, and then do get in the fresh air and start walking, and, you know, do 10 minutes the first time, and then build up to half an hour, and really do as much as you can. And it's wonderful for the children. I don't think the children are doing nearly as much exercise as we used to do at school. You know, we used to have set times that you'd go out and you'd play whatever the game was, hockey or lacrosse or tennis or anything, football, of course, for the boys. And it seems to me now that the children aren't out there playing enough.
And what are your thoughts on the difference between walking and running? Do you get as much benefit from running?
Well, of course, if you can build up your walking and then you start running, that's wonderful, even jogging. And I think that's absolutely great, because the bouncing action of the jogging and the running actually moves the lymph system in the body. So, of course, that's, you know, the more exercise we can take, the better. And of course the breathing exercises are important as well. We did that lovely program on the breathing, going up and down the stairs. Do you remember?
Yes.
Breathing in and out on each step. And that sort of thing makes a huge difference, and people can get much more mobile than they were.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our next clip. This is by Dr. Mehmet Oz, and he's talking about weight loss and exercise.
The key, and this is based on a lot of patients for long periods of time, and maybe the most important thing I'll tell you about dieting, the key to long-term weight loss is about 100 calories a day less food today than yesterday over a long time. Because 100 calories of food is so little that your biology can't figure out you're on a diet. It doesn't seem like a big difference. So in a very subtle way, 100 calories over 35 days will lose you a pound. Over a year, it's 12 pounds. Over 2 years, 24 pounds. And what we have found over and over and over again is when we look at people who lose weight over a long period of time and stay thin, that's the reason. Because it was a subtle shift done long term. Now, the big missing clue for a lot of folks is the exercise part, right? We've been talking about what to put in your mouth. A lot of people want to know, should I walk, run, sprint, swim? What's the best exercise for weight loss? The answer is unimportant, because who cares about weight loss? But if you ask the question, what's the best way for me to lose waist, right? Because it's about waist management, W-A-I-S-T. It's really all about muscle. So the best exercise is walking, because as I said before, you won't get hurt. But it's only a preamble to the ultimate exercise you have to do, which is building muscle mass. Now here's the secret untold story about muscle. Muscle burns about 50 times more calories than fat does. But it's heavy. So as you begin to work out, you're not going to lose weight. You'll lose waist. As you lose waist, you're going to look better. You're going to feel better. All the symptoms that might be occurring from the extra fat in your belly go away. You may not weigh less, but long term, you'll still be here. The other thing about muscle mass building is that muscles, when you exercise them and have them lift weights, they actually burn a lot of calories. They burn even more calories in between workouts. So even when you're not doing anything at all but sitting on your sofa at home, you're still consuming more calories than someone who didn't build muscle mass. Now the problem that we often have is that folks don't want to work out because they don't want to get big and bulky, right? That's the classic fear that a lot of folks express. So we began working with well, actually, this is, if you really want to see what, a lot of people want to run fast, right? And you can see the athleticism here and the speed at which this animal is seeking its prey. But if you're really going to run fast, then you're going to do this, right? You're going to outcome and then hopefully there's something altruistic. And a lot of folks want to do that kind of exercise. I have no problems with that at all. I played football in college. I know what a wind sprint is. I don't have any issues with that at all. That's not long-term how you'll lose weight. The way you'll lose weight long-term is from doing walking. And think about it. If you can get 10,000 steps a day, and you guys are standing a lot, so even if it's a matter of pacing, you'll be like the Amish. The Pennsylvania Amish, who don't have automated vehicles, walk everywhere. The obesity rate for men, 1%. There's no fat Amish person that you can find because they're walking all the time.
Hi there, welcome back. Just like they mentioned on the clip there, the best way of losing weight long term is walking.
Absolutely, and I love what he says, it's waist loss rather than weight loss. How true that is, because as you build the muscle, of course, that weighs heavier than the fat, so you may lose the flabby bit on the tummy, but you're building the good muscles up. So of course you're looking much better, feeling much better. But it was interesting what he said about the Amish people, because I have met some Amish in America, and they come from an Anabaptist movement about 300 years ago, went to live in Pennsylvania, and they're very strict. They're Christians, they're very strict, and they live by the Ordnung. And if you disobey the Ordnung and you don't come under their discipline, you are shunned by the community, and that is the worst thing that can happen, and then you have to leave the community. But my goodness me, they are really fit because they don't use any mechanical transport. They have horses, but and if they're going on a long trip, they will take the horse. But mainly they are walking and they are working, of course. They live a very simple life. They wear very simple clothes. very proper and discreet. They're lovely, lovely people. They are just amazing. And I remember being in a hotel in America, and this young couple came in who were Amish, and she had a little bonnet on and a sweet little dress. I mean, it looks like 300 years ago, but they had such peace. They were so lovely and they were so polite. And I went over and told them what a pleasure it was to see them. So they're really lovely people.
I think with the generation that we're in at the moment, with the technology that's out there and all the gadgets and making our life very easy to live, shall we say, we don't do as much exercise as they probably did maybe 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, because my father-in-law is he's a farmer. He's an old-fashioned farmer, and you look at him, he's in his 70s, but he's so fit. He's just very fit. Until today, he's still growing all his fruits and vegetables and everything. And I suppose that's even, you look at a lot of Spanish people, they're very fit because they all have their own farms and they're doing a lot of manual labour as well. And it just keeps them young. Absolutely.
And if the fiat currencies ever disappear, as some people predict, and if we ever have the electrical magnetic force, you know, is removed and we don't have any electricity, my goodness me, your father-in-law is going to be fine and you'll be fine because he'll produce food for you. But, you know, we live in a very artificial world now. And I think we've lost a lot of health because of the way that we've moved into a very automated society. And so, yeah, we need to walk, we need to grow our own vegetables again, and then people would be much, much healthier.
About the best way of weight loss, it mentioned in the video, is to make the subtle changes to your food.
Well, that's right. You've got to combine the nutrition with the exercise and taking lots of fresh air. You know, it's no good people just going on the diet, having the juices but not taking the exercise, because you will build up toxicity in the body. You need to get rid of the toxins when you are starting to detox. People go through this Herxheimer reaction where the toxins are now being released from the liver in enormous quantity, and most people are just blocked up really with the toxins. That's why they have to do the colonics, they have to do the exercise, and of course getting in a sauna is another good way of sweating out the toxins. So it's a combination of everything. And of course, when people took a lot of exercise, they would sweat. You know, when they were out in the fields harvesting, you would sweat. And we don't sweat when we're sitting at our computers, unless it's when you get a particularly nasty email in. But even so, you know, it's the fight and flight response that we get. Stress, but we're not releasing it by running away from the bear or the tiger, you know, which is what the fight and flight response is for. And if we're stuck sitting at a computer and we're on our mobile phones, you know, we're not getting rid of that stress in a healthy way, so it builds up in the body.
Okay, so we've looked at walking, and now let's take a look at our next clip. This is about brisk walking.
Brisk walking is a popular aerobic activity suitable for all ages. Brisk walking benefits your health, is safe, and can be done almost anywhere and anytime. This video will teach you how to brisk walk. Having the correct technique is important. The right technique will not only prevent injuries, they will help you walk faster and longer. Let's begin by looking at some common mistakes that people make while they brisk walk. As you have noticed, she was swinging her arms across the center line and twisting her waist. You should not swing your arm across the center line of your body or twist your waist from side to side. You should be bending your elbows roughly 90 degrees while swinging your arms. Your hands should also be loosely clenched. This is how you should swing your arms. Let's continue walking. Another common mistake is lifted and tense shoulders. Notice she is crouching forward and looking downward. Instead, you should keep your shoulders relaxed so that you will not strain your neck. You should keep your back straight and look forward as you walk. That's it for the upper body. Next, let's look at how our legs should be moving while brisk walking. Notice how her heel strikes the ground as she steps forward. Your foot should roll off from your heel towards your toes and push off from the balls of your foot. That's it for our legs. Now let's look at the correct brisk walking technique. Her arms are swinging without crossing the center line of her body. and she's not twisting her waist from side to side. Her elbows are also bent roughly 90 degrees, and her hands are loosely clenched. She's looking forward with her back straight and shoulders relaxed. She's walking comfortably, not stepping too far and not too short. Her heels are striking the ground first as she steps forward and push off with the balls of her feet. You will usually encounter slopes while brisk walking. So now let's look at how to walk up a slope. While walking up a slope, you should lean slightly forward to help you balance better. Keep your back straight as you would when you're walking on flat ground. Also avoid looking up the slope so you'll not strain your neck, and take smaller steps. Let's see how to walk down a slope. Similar to walking on flat ground, keep your back straight to help you balance better. Reduce your speed and take smaller steps. Also bend your knees to help reduce impact to your joints. Now that you have learned the correct brisk walking technique, do remember...
Hi there, welcome back. Just as we've just seen there about the techniques of walking, why is it important for us to have the right technique?
But then we use all the muscles in the legs and the ankles, obviously, in the correct way, and so much better, and you can also enjoy it so much more when you're walking the correct way. So, yeah, I think these little clips are really good because they're really showing people. I think that one was in Singapore, and I think that was his mum, don't you?
Yeah, oh, bless. Mum, I want to put an online video. Can you do some walking?
That's right. And didn't she walk well?
She was very good. And it's interesting to see the posture and the technique that you use when you're walking up a hill to when you're walking down a hill as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing is not to trip, because if you trip and sprain an ankle, as I have done on the golf course by putting my foot in a rabbit hole, you're probably out of walking for several weeks. It's really quite scary. So the great thing is, if people are older, to be really careful that they don't fall, they don't trip. So walk on flat ground. You know, in Portugal, where I lived for 40 years, we had these terrible cobbles. You know, they call them calçadas. I don't think you have them quite so much in Spain, do you?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's much safer here.
Yeah.
So I was not sorry to lose the calçadas, especially when it's wet and you're walking on these stones, and it's so easy to misstep and miss your footing.
It's lovely here because you have the promenade, the seafront, and you've got the sea, and you've got the lovely breeze as well. So
now this is where Cyril walks every morning on the patio, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
Yes, it's great. And I love walking on the beach. There's something special for me about being down on the sea. And so if I'm in Jersey or here, I try and walk definitely on the beach, and sometimes just walking on the edge of the waves, because then you get the negative ions, you know, as well. And you feel really energized. It's really, really good. But every day we should be out walking, even if it's just half an hour.
Do you think to let's say we've got new viewers who haven't done exercise in many years, would you recommend for them to walk on a flat ground rather than going up a hill? Yes, absolutely. Start on the flat, and that's the very best you can do. Where I live, it's all hills, so it's difficult to do that. But it's setting yourself goals, though, as well, isn't it? So it's maybe starting flat and thinking, one day I'm going to achieve this hill. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Building up with reasonable goals that you know that you can reach without hurting yourself. And of course the ultimate is when you start running, you know, going into marathons. We've had a few clips, haven't we, before in other programs with the women who are the raw vegan athletes who are absolutely amazing, and they're running marathons in their 70s. So yeah, it's all up to us what we do with these bodies, you know, how we exercise and keep them fit. It's really up to us. Excellent. So we've talked about walking, we've talked about brisk walking. Let's take a look at our next clip. This is about power walking.
Hello, Steve here, your personal trainer. I've been personal training for 20 years. Jackie's been personal training for quite a few years as well, but it's bad to ask women about their age and stuff. So here we are. Do you know what really annoys me? When people tell me, and I hear it all of the time, I haven't got enough time to exercise. Oh, I haven't got time to exercise. Walking is exercise. Exercise doesn't have to mean you get your shorts on, you get your gear on, you go somewhere, you hit a ball, you do something. Exercise can be absolutely anything, and walking, Is it hard enough? You bet it's hard enough, especially when you turn it into a power walking phase. So what we're going to do now is we've already done a little demonstration earlier on of a little intro exercise walk. What we're going to do is add some power. And what does power mean? The addition of speed. Now we're not necessarily going to go forwards much faster, but we're going to make our little actions that little bit quicker. Now the rule is this time, Jackie, we've got to keep our elbows at 90 degrees. Okay, that's just an opportunity for me to show the camera my biceps just there. Oh dear, you got better biceps than me. But hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep our elbow at 90 degrees. We're not squeezing our wrists. We don't want to create any pressure in the forearms, but we just keep them like that. So when we're driving forwards, we lift our hand up to about eye level, but also drive backwards. Okay, that's how we build the speed in. So if we were to do it on the spot here, face me, Jax. We just go like that, bang, 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 bang. And if you were to do this right now, standing still, I guarantee you'd be able to feel your abdominals start to work. How great is that? Walking is like doing sit-ups, stood up. Fabulous. So what we're gonna do, get that going. You can see it's a smooth but fast action. 90 degrees at the elbow, hands coming up, chin height. So as soon as we start moving, you've got to pull your abdominals in. Now, question, why is it important to pull your abdominals in when you're doing power walking? Here's the answer. Not only is it good for your posture, but it looks good, okay? So you've got to think, do I want to look like this or do I want to look like this with better posture? So pull the abs in, pull the shoulders back. Feet-wise, they're going to be going a bit quicker. So what we have to do is pick up our toes. It looks like this. Instead of sort of drifting through with a toe, I want you to lead through with your heel. So when you come through, you're actually engaging these little muscles down in your shin. They've got a posh name, but we don't worry about that. The shin muscles, we're going to lift up and come through like so. And that's what helps us to get that little bit of speed. And why is speed good? Because it burns more energy. And what's energy? Calories.
Hi there, welcome back. It's interesting, we all say we just don't have enough time to exercise, but you can always find the time.
Absolutely, and walking is so easy. We all have to do that anyway. So really important to get. And also, of course, we're getting the sunshine when we're outside, which is really important as well. And if people are not getting their vitamin D, if you live in a cold climate, then it's a good idea to have these to supplement the vitamin D. And this is Philip Day's vitamin D3, which is really good, and he's got K2 with it. So that really helps. But of course, there's nothing like the real thing, being out in the fresh air and getting some sunshine on the body.
And how important is it that our diet and what we're eating? It's great that we're exercising, but it's a lifestyle, it's a whole package that we always say.
Yeah, we have to do New Start, which is nutrition and exercise and water and sunshine and temperance and air, fresh air, rest, relaxation, and I add research in there as well, and T, which is trust in God. So we've got to put the whole package together, because you can be doing a lot of exercise and still eating the wrong things. If you're eating the wrong sugars and fats and salts, you know, the body is never going to be fit. So we have to really learn a little bit about the Get Well, Stay Well. I've got my courses, you know, the 25 pound courses which people can download. Also they can come on a course, which is of course more expensive, but come to Spain, come to Jersey, do a course. You really got to learn about the background, the science to what we're eating, to our nutrition, because we've been taught a lot of misinformation and disinformation. And really, when I went to train in America, I learned so much more science about nutrition than I'd ever learned before. For instance, you know, when we cook food, there's something called leukocytosis, where the cooked food actually causes inflammation in the body. I mean, nobody's ever told us this before. But scientists have proved that now. So when we get on the raw food, the raw fruit and vegetables actually have the right enzymes in for us to digest, And so it's the perfect food, and we don't have all this exhausting energy to have to digest, say, eggs and bacon, fried bread, and blood sausage and all the ghastly things that people put together. So really, if we're living on sandwiches, we're living on pizzas, chicken nuggets, and all this sort of modern processed food, we're still not actually giving the body nutrients. We're filling the body up so we feel better, we've had a hot something to fill the tummy, but it's not actually feeding the cells. And this whole thing is about realizing that we are trillions of cells, and our immune system is entirely dependent on the health of our cells. When cells start breaking down, then organs will start breaking down.
I think the whole thing is about education at the end of the day, and it's understanding how our body works, understanding the dangers that we're doing to our bodies by eating the wrong foods, and how much we can reverse everything by changing our diet and eating the right foods as well.
That's right. I mean, the trans fats, the margarines and the cooking oils that had such marketing during the last 50 years, really. Everything's changed so much, and they are so unhealthy on the body. Those margarines, low-fat spreads, they call them. But in fact, they're only one molecule away from plastic, and that has caused so much damage in the body. A third of people have got diabetes now. I mean, this is ridiculous. And the cancer rates, all these rates of sickness, heart disease, for instance, has proliferated in the last 50 years.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our next clip. This is Dance Your Way to Being Thin.
Welcome to our warm-up. We're going to get your heart pumping and your body ready for a fun and energetic dance workout. My friends Tracy and Beth, Austin, Michelle are here, so we're going to get you started. Hands on your hips, step touch right and left. It's right and left. Good. Little bounce. Arms are coming up right here, so little arm circles. Roll those shoulders back. Great job. Let's make this even bigger. Right here, more energy. Excellent. 4, 3, moving on. Hands back on hips, tap it forward. It's right and left, cross right and left. Let's do that footwork again. Here come the arms, right here. We cross and open, and just roll them around. It's cross and open, and roll them around. We're gonna add a head after the cross and open. You're gonna follow your feet. Great job. Back to the step touch and little pushes right here. Excellent. For 4, 3, 2, now tap it forward. It's open and cross, and just take them around. Great job. Back to the step touch. Really getting that body warm and ready for dance. For 4, 3, 2, tap it forward now. Right and left, cross right and left. Last time, back to the step touch. Really make it count. Good. There you go. For 4, 3, 2, tap it forward. It's right and left, cross right and left. Last time, we're gonna reach left and right. It's left and right across the body. Reach. Bend those knees. Beautiful. Now take them a little lower. Across the body. Arms are parallel to the floor. For 4, 3, let's take it up. Right here, really reach. Up. Go for it. Big energy. 4, 3, 2, across the body now. Extend right outside yourself. Pivot that back heel. For 4, 3, 2, lunge left and right. It's left and right. Abdominals are in. Chest is up. Excellent. Hold here. Getting a nice stretch in your thigh. For 4 and 3, 2, we're gonna pivot around, interlace those fingers, scoop out the belly, let the head drop. For 4, 3, 2, hands on hips. We lunge it down and up. Good. 2 more. Last one. We're gonna pivot around to the center, and we're gonna lunge right and left. It's right and left. Excellent. Chest is up, shoulders are back and down. Hold here. Excellent. Feel that stretch in your thigh. for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna pivot around, scoop in the belly, interlace your fingers, feel a stretch in your back. Hands on hips, 4 lunges. Take it down and up. Make sure your knee doesn't go beyond your toe. Great job. And we're gonna pivot around, gently melt down, and roll it up. Head is the last thing to come up. March it out right here. Great job. Now that we've got you warmed up, let's work it out.
Hi there, welcome back. If you're moving, you're improving. I think that's the saying of the day, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it? And you know, they say it's the waist measurement that's so important, and women should not be more than 30 inches round the waist, and men should not be more than 35 inches round the waist. So really, that's the vital measurement. I don't weigh myself, you know. I know that I'm fit now. I've been through cancer and I've come through the other side. I lost 1/3 of my body weight when I had cancer. So it was really important to sort of get my strength back. And I did that with the exercise and the juices and the colonics. And I think people who just need to lose a little bit of weight, all they have to do really is get on the right nutrition and walk. All they need is a pair of these trainer shoes and go on fruits and vegetables. I mean, how easy is that? Yeah. How easy is that? I've had the last week, I've really just had fruits and vegetables, and I feel wonderful, you know. I've been having lots of grapes and avocados, which I love. That's such a good staple because it's quite a filler, an avocado as well. So I've cut out bread and I've cut out chocolate and I've cut out really everything apart from fruit and vegetables. So when you just go to the market and you make your shopping list just fruits and vegetables. I also keep some rice in the cupboard because when I get hungry I can have some cooked rice, and I'll do that with say a vegetable curry. But I've
because
kept...
when eating healthy doesn't have to be boring. It's like you said, you can make a vegetable curry, for example. It's interesting and it's tasty as well, isn't it? When you think, I'm going to eat the raw food, you think, oh, there must be a piece of lettuce or something, but it can be interesting.
I think salads are boring, and because I've had such a lot of trouble with my digestive system with pancreatic cancer, I find it extremely difficult to actually digest salad. So what I would say for people who have the same problem, a lot of people have a worn-out digestive system, and if you blend your salad, then you can digest it. So I can put the lettuce, the tomatoes, everything, the green peppers and various other salady things. I put them in the blender with some water and I just blend them up. Now I can drink that. The thing is that the blender and the juicer have actually pre-digested it for you. And another thing people can do is take the digestive enzymes, and you can get those from Philip Day's shop as well as on my shop on my website, because I think the digestive enzymes can get people well again, so that they're then able to actually digest the good vitamins and minerals that are in the fruit and vegetables.
Very quickly, is there what is the difference between juicing and blending?
Well, with the juicer, you have the pure juice coming out one end and the pulp the other. And for someone who's been very ill, and maybe for little babies, it's much easier for their digestive system to just cope with the juice. For people who are just coming into this lifestyle, if they've got a blender, most of us have got a blender in the kitchen, and you can start with that. So the pulp is mixed in, and you know, both have their place. I've got a blender, and you can make wonderful vegetable soups, for instance, with that. So a blender and a juicer are great.
Okay, Felicity, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Unfortunately, we've just come towards the end of today's programme. Thank you also to our viewers. You've seen a lot of videos on today's programme, so if you want to see our catch-up service on Revelation TV, it's www.revelationtv.com. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/RTV Europe. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Take care, make some changes in your life and start exercising, see how you feel. Take care, God bless. See you soon. Bye.